All right, but talking about, we did mention about M-Pesa earlier on, but what is the role of innovation in all this, in the sense that as a bank that has a branch in Nairobi or in Paris, going to give the same service it does give in a rural area, or will it have to tweak it a little?
The bottom line is, the first thing is that any financial innovation that we see coming up, we will have to use the technological solutions that are available. That's one of the things that we see, and that's why M-Pesa is becoming very attractive, because you're sitting here, you can transfer your money in a remote district, in a remote location in Kenya, as long as there is an agent there. And the number of agents will increase as you go into remoteness. Now, commonality of services is not the issue here. It's the service that you really want yourself. I want a money transfer service, and I should get it, and it should come to me where I am. And now, if I want, if I'm a corporate customer, I will require corporate services that are consistent with my demand. That's where we want to be. We want financial institutions to make sure that they know their customers and the locational characteristics of their customers. There are customers who want pure money transfer. There are customers down the line who want, I just want a bank account to save my money for a rainy day, and I'll keep saving my money. So essentially, it is the banks themselves that should distinguish which customers they're serving and what kind of trait they have. If they are corporate customers, working capital will be more important. Provide the working capital. Now, of course, as you go high in the acronym, they will talk about their own risks, which are the risks. For us as the regulators, and maybe also looking at how the cost of financial services are, we'll be looking at those products that come into the market that try to solve this, to provide the solution.
Dr. Hannig, what is your experience?
Well, our experience in this area, I would just like to reiterate what has been said. You know, the mobile money transfer is the first step really to bring people into financial services, but that is not all. That is why I think it is a very smart move to look broader and to look into other policies that can actually enable banks to reach out to poor customers. Now, what AFI can do, and I would like to reiterate this, people like the governor and his staff, they of course they have a very busy day, and for them it is very difficult to identify the right partners around the globe who have done so successfully. That is, I think, we can facilitate a lot of this for them and actually can connect the people in the right way, and also offer the right methodologies for learning and mutual exchange. That is what AFI is doing, and the Kenyan case of M-Pesa is outstanding. There's a lot of demand. We are very aware, for example, the Central Bank of Afghanistan is very interested in looking into the Kenyan regulatory experience in this area. And the governor is even here. We had a dinner last night, and we are also going very soon to Afghanistan, and of course would like to connect Kenya's supply of knowledge with Afghan demand for these insights.
All right, zooming into another aspect of getting financial services down to the grassroots cost, that is always a concern. How are you going to deal with this, or how is it being dealt with?
Yeah. I mean, when we just stay for a second with the mobile money services, I'm not really fully aware of the Kenyan figures, but I know from the Philippines that, for example, a small transaction through a mobile phone costs only 1/5 of a transaction that is a transfer payment that is made through a formal bank. So this is very, very useful for the customer, not only in terms of that he's saving an absolute amount of money. There are also transaction costs involved. If a customer has to go to a bank, find the bank, queue up in a long queue, close the shop in the meantime, he will lose a lot of business, and then the transport problem will also be there. So I think this technology and enabled financial services are very useful for the poor customers. And as you know, worldwide, more people have a mobile phone and a bank account.
Actually, one of the things is that the infrastructure goes hand in hand with banking services. And if you compare, as Alfred has done, between mobile services and going to a bank, queuing and all that, you realize that there are transactions cost. And mobile transfer payment may be perhaps the answer in terms of taking advantage of future development. But that does not mean that we should not actually improve our infrastructure. I always give an example from my home area, where I come from. If I take someone who wants to go to the only way to get to a bank account, you have to go to the urban town. it costs you 50 shillings with a matatu to go to that town one way, and then 50 shillings back. Suppose make an assumption that you just went there and we withdrew 1,000 shillings,
which is 20 shillings to withdraw from the ATM.
Well, even if it is in ATM or even in the bank, it has already cost him 100 shillings to get there by transport.
Yes.
So if we withdrew 1,000 shillings, assuming away all the other costs, it means that for you to access that financial services, you have spent 10% of your withdrawal that day. In fact, it is far, maybe so many times higher than the transactions cost in the bank. That is the ledger fee. So what we're really saying is that we need also to bring services closer to the people so that transport cost does not become a major auxiliary cost to financial services. And that's why technological development is the one that is going to give us the right way to reduce transactions cost further, auxiliary, outside the financial system, but also improving the infrastructure so that banks will move closer to the people because of infrastructure. And the way things are moving now in terms of road networks, it shows that it's going to work. But of course, you see, M-Pesa also has a value cap, isn't it? So if you want to go beyond that value cap, you know you have to access the bank. So essentially, it depends on your characteristics or your profile as a customer and the service that you require. So we need to build up all this in terms of where we are and take advantage of technology.
All right, gentlemen, we have to wrap it up, but very quickly, very briefly, any last parting words?
Yeah, we're actually calling more policymakers to join us. Up to now we have 64 members, central banks, ministries of finance, those ones who do the regulations. So we are very open to welcome more of them, and our objective is to have 100 countries as AFI members, and we are looking forward to that.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Alliance for Financial Inclusion comes at the right time. It is the right time for such a network to come in. It is a network that is going to provide solutions. As I said, it's going to be a clearinghouse to provide financial solutions to developing countries. One of them is to get in and share your experiences, and at the same time to learn from the members in that. That's why Kenya is going to learn about correspondent banking or agent banking within that network. But we also have something to give. We'll show how our M-Pesa is doing and how it has managed to get about 7.4 million people in the last two and a half years, 7.4 million people into the fold. That for us is very, very important. Once you're conscious about financial services, you'd like to be in a bank account, save your resources from there. And that is what savings, investment, and growth paradigm talks about. Thank you very much.
NjugunaNdungu, Central Bank Governor, thank you very much for coming in, alongside AFI Global Executive Director, Dr. Alfred Hannig. So it was a pleasure. And of course, our very own M-Pesa money transfer service, creating a lot of attention, actually, buzz. It has received just about every award there is to receive out there, and still a model really for financial inclusion, for not just in Kenya, but on a wider perspective. There has been your Sunrise Business actually interview here on Sunrise Live. Ramanyang will have all the details, the news and the analysis coming up shortly after this break. Don't go away.